Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hassenpfeffer Incorporated.
We're gonna do it.
Give us any chance, we'll take it. We're sitting on the track now. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Doing it our way.
There is nothing we won't try. Never heard the word impossible this time. There's no stopping us.
We're gonna do it.
On your mark, get set, and go now. Got a dream and we just know now. We're gonna make that dream come true.
Fuck you.
We'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make our dreams come true, and we'll do it our way, yes, our way. Make our dreams come true for me and you.
Yo, everybody! Welcome to the Abed Hour. This is Abed Gaith, and as you can see, I'm next to my beautiful Chaos Wheel, which I miss dearly. How you doing, Chaos? Chaos is doing fine. Oh, shit. Chaos was talking just now.
Mom.
Okay, Chaos thinks that I'm its mom. That's not true. I am no one's parent. Don't make me a parent. Kevin Day is here. How you doing, Kevin?
I am doing great tonight.
Didn't we give you a nickname last time?
Not that I remember.
I feel like we gave you like a crazy nickname. I'll just say the Maniac, Kevin Day.
All
Maniac
right.
D. Which is
I like that.
Yeah. It's like a kid's book. Remember the kid that ran with those crazy shoes?
Yep.
You're like, yep.
Yep,
Martin
that's me.
Olson is here, and Martin is the best laugh in the business. Martin, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yeah, you sound very more Boston than normal.
I'm just, the closer I get to death, the more Boston I become.
So you'll eventually become Boston.
Eventually I'll be in Boston.
A leprechaun.
Yeah, he'll be a leprechaun. So yeah, this is the show, everyone, and we'll get to our guest in just a moment. I want to say that I'm glad to be back in the studio, and whenever we do the show, I'm going to try to be here, because before I was in my annoying kitchen, and it's annoying because it's like a workplace that's so jam-packed with bullshit. And yeah. But really quick, before we just get to the goodies, I want to say if you join my Patreon, and you go to the Abed Hour on Instagram, it's in the bio. Only $5 a month, and you get all the past episodes. I had a new person that just signed up, Jason Harris from South Africa.
Jason, very good.
Yes, and that's right, people. I'll give you a shout out if you join. If you join my Patreon, you will get a shout out. And unlike those other Patreons that frankly don't deliver, they make you pay like $50 to get your name on the show or to get mentioned. But on the Abed Hour, standard fee gets you everything. It's only $5. So that's enough of that. So guys, we are going to get to the show in a second. I just want to say real quick, Martin, I've been reading this R.A. Lafferty shit. And did you read this story called Sky?
Yes. Oh,
Dude,
my God.
What the?
Yeah.
That is probably one of the best stories I've ever read, honestly.
He's like from another planet. He's just an alien writer. I can't quite figure it out. It's kind of like an Irish ghost or something who's writing the stories. It's so odd.
And that story, for everyone that's probably not read it, it was like about doing drugs and then parachuting, right, Martin? Like jumping out of a plane?
Yes.
And it was like people were on that drug. What was it called? Jump?
Mm-hmm.
And like she bought it, or the main character buys it from like a mole?
I think so.
An like a cave dweller. Like in this future, like everywhere in America is just like caves. And then they go into the sky to trip out and do drugs. And like, Martin, when it described people dying, right? Wasn't that insane?
Mm-hmm.
That was insane.
Yeah, dream like the way this guy writes. I can't quite figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't plug him enough. It's like R.A. Lafferty. I found the book in Wisconsin, Martin, and
Glad to hear that.
I'm telling you, like, I haven't seen his stuff anywhere else, but you turned me on to him, and his writing, yeah, it's like changing my life. It's like Philip K. Dickian, really just fucked up but weird.
It is. Adam, have you heard of this dude, R.A.
No.
Lafferty?
No, I have not. I'm intrigued.
He's an extreme. He's a Texan who was a like a Christian guy.
He's from Oklahoma. Oh wait,
Yes, you're right.
yeah, he's like in the middle of Oklahoma, and he was an alcoholic. He was religious. And
Yeah,
Martin,
my writing partner turned me on to him because he was a science fiction writer, Robert Sheckley, and he said, "You got to read R.A. Lafferty. He's a friend of mine, and he has a shack inside of his living room." I said, "What do you mean?" He says he built a roughly hewn shack, and he goes into it every day and writes inside the shack.
Oh my God.
well, it's an igloo, right? It's like an ice shack.
Dude.
No.
I thought you said
I
last
love
time
the
that it's,
mystery.
cold inside.
Yeah.
All right,
That's
everybody.
insane.
Adam Drucker is my guest, and here
Yo!
How are you?
I'm back.
he's back. You were on the show before, and quite frankly, the show wasn't what it normally is. This is a little bit more home base, except the only difference is Martin would be here on a keyboard.
Right, with you. Yeah. It's still, so that sucks. We got to do a third one.
We'll do a third one. We gotta do
All right,
so
great.
we'll continue
Okay.
this. Anyway, we will never stop this interview. It's going to keep going.
That sounds fantastic.
I think that would be a first, Kevin, if we just keep the interview like every episode's Adam from now on.
I would like that. Yeah.
I could dress up a little.
But did you have no, I mean Adam, I gotta
See some
say
other
that,
people. Oh, go ahead.
that mohawk is kicking.
It's actually it's a whole head of hair, but it doesn't. You like that?
Yeah, there you go.
It's
That-
just
that-
falling to the center. Someday, you know.
Yeah, dude, Adam, last time you were on, I think you were fantastic. We had a great time. But there was so much we couldn't get to.
Yes, I agree. I had
That's
a great
why
time.
he could be a perpetual guest because he has so many different careers. He does so many different things. So you're mysterious, just like R.A. Lafferty.
I wish I don't have a fucking shack in my living room though, man. That's beyond mysterious. When I see that Kinski Herzog movie, My Best Fiend,
Oh, I love
there's
that.
when you see how hard Kinski was going to like get a performance out of himself.
Yes.
I basically see that and I'm like, no, I'm a bitch. That's not the art I'm gonna do. You know, I can't do that. And the same thing with a shack. It's like,
I
if
love
that's
that
how you
brought
do
up-
it.
I love that you brought up Herzog, Martin. Didn't you watch House of Glass? Heart of Glass.
Yes, I did
Art-
watch
that's
it. Most puzzling movie I've seen, but he hypnotized the actor.
That's the hypnotized movie. Yeah. That scene where I'll never forget it, where that, like the picture frame falls off the wall and everyone
Yeah.
kind of snaps out of it for a second. And
Oh,
it's, like,
that's right.
incredibly uncomfortable. Like that, to me, that was why I watched the film. You know?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because Adam, I recently have only just seen it. I'm working my way through Herzog, and the one
It's
I
all
saw,
good.
he's fucking amazing, but
He's
his
a genius,
movies are confusing as fuck. And that movie, I had to watch the commentary to figure out what was happening.
Yeah, I don't know that I needed to. There's like a space where it's like it's kind of performative. Honestly, I think a lot, not to be crotchety, it's because of good things I was exposed to, but I think a lot when I see modern cinema. It's like a more evolved version of like, they don't make them like they used to, but I'm specifically thinking about the bond and art produced by Herzog and Kinski in things like Fitzcarraldo and Wrath of God, and like the extra mile they went to, and now it's all green screen. And like, what was the fucking budget on Fitzcarraldo?
Yeah, like
Where he took a
barely
whole
anything.
boat over a mountain.
There's that crazy shot.
What the
'cause
fuck?
I love that movie. There's that crazy shot. Remember that it's like the cameraman angle, like the cameraman's like perspective, and then water just fucking washes all through. And I think he got hurt or something, right?
I don't know.
Oh, everybody gets hurt in his movies for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's really high art. I love all his docs, but when I when I witness those films again, I'm like, oh, man, this is really it. It's more like it's too bad that this isn't still the main ingredients for making film.
Well, you know what? I mean, I think what you're saying is, I mean, obviously movies are entertainment. And so what he's doing is actually art because it's so completely different and unique. And when you see it, it's an experiential thing. They're experiencing this different thing. It's not like something to be watched as entertainment, really.
No. And it's, yeah.
Sorry, you have too many cooks in the kitchen in a lot of movies where like a producer's saying something and this person's saying something and more
and
money.
A brand.
Right.
Sometimes. Yeah. No, it's kind of real. I think, but all that, some films every year, 1 or 2, 3 films do transcend and get to where all that was leading. You know, it's not like completely gone off the face of the earth, but it's not the shit. And like, winning an Academy Award is one thing, but like whatever would have happened that would have created a film industry where the precipice of it was being the most artistic and authentic.
I think it's necessary for those films to be outsider films, though. Otherwise, it would be absurd to think that every work of art is going to be authentic. You need to have a whole. What's the word? Need to have a whole. What are they called? They used to call mentally deficient people. Now they call them.
Oh, I was going to say the bad word. Yeah,
I can't say that word. But I mean, Martin.
Oh, it's so diversity, and it's the spectrum.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You need a full
I thought he was going a different way with
films. Even with films. Or anything like that, it has to have a full spectrum because we're idiots. And so part of us are genius people and part of us are morons. So all of the art sort of reflects that.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Well, you know what? The best thing ever was the guy that worked with Orson Welles when he made Citizen Kane. I think it's Greg Toland. He knew what he was doing, but he didn't want to interfere with Orson's vision because Orson didn't know what he was doing. And he was so excited to work with someone that never made a movie before because he's going to show him things that he just never would have thought of.
Oh,
so
you mean the
cinematographer for that reason?
You mean the cinematographer, or you mean
cinematographer? Yes, Greg Toland. Yeah, because he just didn't stop Orson when Orson was like, "Can we do this? Can we do that?" You know,
right?
Like
that was
normal.
His strength was he didn't know what he was doing. That was the strength.
That's the difference between then and today is like you got to almost approach a movie like you're a child, like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, there's this. I guess the other thing too is like I watched Wings of Desire recently.
Oh, great movie!
Same exact thing. After that movie ends, I'm like, "Woo, what's in that's not in all this other stuff I press play on?" Man. And it's like everything. I just. You know, it's a different era, and I'm glad to see when those things occur in this era still. Like, I thought Everything Everywhere was pretty astounding. It rang that bell for me while not being derivative, you know.
That movie was that movie was the best kind of movie because you can be insane and make it brilliant and also make sense in some way. It's like everything I want in a movie is in that movie.
Yep.
You know what's so fun about that is talking with. Sorry to interrupt you. Seeing the two writers and directors of the film. What were they? The two Kevins, the two somethings.
Yeah, Daniels. I think it's Daniels.
The two Daniels.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're just regular people, and they don't seem like to be putting anything on. It just seems like they're just fucking artists trying to do something different. And I mean, it's literally impossible that it became the best film voted. I mean, it's just so glorious that happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's throughout my life, I've been exposed to things that are like penultimate, but they don't get that reception and they don't get a chance to move the bar and get you to invest in things that aren't big budget or that are alternative or I thought Everything Everywhere is definitely one of my favorite representation films where it wasn't maudlin. It was like a Asian American story, and it was beautiful. And you knew without knowing. It wasn't heavy handed. It was really great.
Oh my God, Adam, you know, at the end of that, the weird thing, and maybe you guys had the same experience. I was fucking sobbing like a baby at the end of that.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about love. That was actually that scene where she's realizing she loves him.
Yes.
It's literally, I think it's the best portrayal of like the love, the seizure of knowing love. You know, it was really, really strong.
I think because it was first of all, it's amazing that it became so popular. It just gave me such a lift spiritually.
The H word, hope. Yeah, it does make you hopeful. It's like
it does make everyone hopeful for like
it does. Yeah, and also as a film. And then ambiently as an artist, which I think is the mark of authenticity in a thing, you know.
Hey, Kevin, I just realized you were gone this whole conversation. We were talking about you.
I was listening. I was here.
I'm just kidding. We weren't. But yeah, everybody, I love this conversation. We're going to get to the wheel right now.
Let's wheel it.
Let's wheel it. And I don't think the audience can read that. Maybe you can. But our categories are Alan Moore, because I know Adam's got some cool stuff.
I do. Enhance.
I think we already covered Drugs and Lafferty, so we can move past that. We got Mogwai, which is a band that I love.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a story, I'm sure, of them. Martin Question and Wisconsin Creative Theory, which is...
just for entertainment value, sorry to interrupt. Could you bring that physically closer to the camera?
I could, but I
normally wouldn't do it.
I did a test earlier where I can stand up and interact with it, and you see me and the wheel. So
what I mean is we can't really see what's written on it, or can we?
So if I move it, there you go. That's the first spin, right, guys?
Sounds like a wheel.
Alan Moore. All right.
Oh, good,
Alan.
I'm glad I put less topics just so that we could get to everything.
Yeah. Let's boogie.
Now, Abed and I were astounded because I believe you said last time you worked with him. Is that correct?
I did. It was one of the greatest things in my life, to be honest.
Wow.
So Lex Records is a record label in London run by Tom Brown, who I love. Very old friend. He put out all the Subtle records. So I was on his label for quite some time. Towards the end of after Subtle was finished, Andrew Broder is like my best friend in the world and the frontman and composer behind all the Fog music and various other things. And we had a chance. Tom hit me up and he like met Alan Moore, I think through like, living in London, douchebaggery. Like he just got a connection. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that was like a fated moment, or maybe it was and I don't recall. But he hits me up and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to work with Alan. And he brought up me and Broder doing it. And Broder was into the idea, but was not a fan of Alan's work per se. And then I fucking said yes to doing Unearthing, which is a slightly autobiographical thing, as well as being about his favorite writer and peer. And he did an audiobook and we scored the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
What's the audiobook?
It's called Unearthing and it's on vinyl. I want to say it's available on digital. And it's about Stephen Moore. And like that whole scene that he came up in. So it goes in and out of, I think, being what resonates with him and what he's talking about in Stephen's life.
I can't wait to see this, man.
Yeah. And, go ahead.
Sorry, what?
Oh no, it was great. So it was just we experimented, did an audiobook, and then we got to do Kevin Spacey before he was canceled, but still a rapist, I guess. He unbeknownst to me, he bought a tube station in London and converted it to an amphitheater show
What?
space. Yeah. And so we did 2 live performances in that creepy space that was amazing. And I got to meet Alan, and when I had a interesting childhood, and one of the only good things in my life was my dad would pick me up on weekends, every other weekend, and take me to Forbidden Planet in New York. And I would read,
The best.
and I would get comics, and he would get Watchmen, and I would read my shitty comics like G.I. Joe and whatever, Spider-Man.
I still
And
have
then I
G.I.
would,
Joe. I love G.I. Joe comics.
yeah, they were, I was a wee lad. And then I would read Watchmen, and it was like this thing. And it became about, reading that. And so then, long story short, I flew my dad out to the performances, and we all got to get fucking high as shit.
Oh, you did not.
With
Did
Alan
you really?
Moore and his whole crew. Yeah, the best. I'll tell you
Wow, good for you, man. That's great.
It was really amazing, man. And he was the process was like, we had the audio recording and we worked to that and moved it around a little.
Wow.
But it's meant to be a book where you're hearing all his words. So yada yada. But when we go and we're rehearsing, we're in Kevin Spacey's creepy tube basement, and I'm sitting there doing something with my MPC, and it's Jeff, and Andrew Broder. And all of a sudden I look up.
Oh, Jell was there.
Yeah. He came to do the live version. And I look up because I get this feeling that someone's in front of me, and it's Alan, and we haven't met. And I just kept looking up. He's so tall, And so I look all the way up, and he looks me right in the eyes. And this cat hasn't met me at all. And he goes, "You sorted?" And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You sorted, mate?" And I'm like, "What?"
Sorted?
Yeah. And then he goes like this, and he drops a crocodile eye of hash on my MPC. And he's like, and he goes, "You are now." And he walks past me. That's it. And then after that, because we were in the middle of rehearsal, we got off stage and we all met for the first time. And I actually gave him, I made the Subtle Trilogy ends, and I made 100 books that only 100 human beings have, with all the writing that explores the prose that are that whole world that I created.
Wow.
And I saved one for him, and I gave it to him. And the next morning he comes into me and again passes my little station, and I'm sitting there, and he's like, "I really like death fetching dogs." And he actually opened it and thumbed it and remembered prose.
Wow.
And I was like, "Man, you are the real deal." And then I had an amazing time with him and my dad. We just listened. So I like to talk. I've never in my life, it was maybe the ultimate experience where I just wanted to fucking listen. I didn't say shit. We just got high, and he told stories. He told us all the stories about how the money for Watchmen and everything went, and how he kept giving it to people. He would assign his rights to the artist, and they would get all the money, but they would never call him and thank him. And
But he eventually gave all that money away. He said, "I don't want."
He gave it to all of them. His stance was always, "If you want a film, come to me. I'll make you a film." That's a graphic novel. And I get it. And I actually think it's someone trying to make a stance, but it also created a thing, which I've met a few artists that are like this, where they're struggling with their greatest achievement. It's like a ceiling. Your greatest achievement, if you're lucky to have one, it becomes a ceiling. It's sort of like you get announced by it all the time. You're always either betraying it or trying to outdo it, and your concept of what outdoes it will never be valid to the people who appreciate a thing, so it's kind of he definitely, I don't think suffering is the word, but I definitely felt that in his system, that Watchmen has been a struggle in some sense, not only the monetary aspects.
I thought the movie got it all wrong, Adam. I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't know.
Oh, no, I feel you, though. I don't know all wrong. Some of it I like just seeing in the flesh, but yeah, it was not dirty.
I just think if you're going to make it, Alan Moore wanted Terry Gilliam, and I'm just like, that would have been a definitive Watchmen version.
Man, I would fucking shit my dick for that.
No, because Alan Moore watched Brazil, and he's like, okay, this guy gets it. This guy has the right
Closest
touch.
thing, right?
Yeah.
And if Alan Moore doesn't sign off on the movie, I don't see how it can be any good.
Well, also, I want to say right now, if you make me take my favorite album and make it one song, I cannot. I think that condensing this into a single film is part of what spoils it every time.
No.
It's not really possible.
Right.
I think there's some superhero comic work because I am a fan. I don't get suck my dick. Who's always mad about it? Scorsese, Alan, everyone's mad about this shit. But I do think, like I loved when I was a kid, I would watch sci-fi movies. And I remember distinctly without knowing shit about shit being like, man, the science fiction that I'm seeing in these X-Men comics is so much more dynamic. I wish I could see that. Instead, I would see like, I don't know, fucking Buck Rogers, you know, and it's like this shit is not cool, you know. So I think so I'm very happy to see that thinking and those ideas get a chance, but it kind of gets fucking everything gets cut to make a film. And
you want to hear something nuts? I have been reading Game of Thrones again, finishing because I didn't finish the
I've never read it. I hear it's amazing.
Well, just like you said, the show did a great job. But when I'm reading those books, his writing is so fucking rich with description, and he's putting you in King's Landing, and you feel that grime.
Right.
That, like, the writing is so good because he kind of makes a gritty version of Lord of the Rings that's like, it's bare knuckled. It's like dragging you through the streets. It's not like pretty. So
Abed, you are in your prime. That's a beautiful way to put writing that's good. You could feel the grime.
Yeah, for sure.
It's true. But the show honestly nails it in the first 4 seasons. Like,
yeah, it gets away from itself.
It gets away from itself. And that's the problem. Like in the books, like when I heard that George R. R. Martin, like the show was going to keep going, but he left, I was like, no, that's not going to work out. I was like, he needs to be involved, dude. Because like,
yeah, I will say I met him too. He's one of the people that funded.
Get out.
Yeah, he funded Meow Wolf, and I had a really.
He funded Meow Wolf.
Yeah, he's one of the main funders, and I had a positive experience doing my installations there. But then there was all this sexual predation and artist exploitation, so I left, and I actually boycott. But my shit's still there. But long story short, when I was installing the piece,
sorry to hear that.
It's it's
Earth. It's Earthlife.
Also, I think the big thing for me, to all the artists out there, if this helps, it does. If not, fuck it, you know. But my whole life, I've been giving a pass to artists for qualities in people that I abjectly fucking don't stand for. And and there's a thing where I was, because someone draws good. It's been happening my whole life in rap, whatever it is. Generally, it's around sexism and abuse of women and others. You know what I'm saying? But there's a thing where you give artists a pass, and my final lesson was with Meow Wolf, and now nobody gets a fucking pass. If you're a dick,
you know what's so funny about that, dude? It's so weird because I give a pass to people who are obnoxious, selfish, horrible people who were abused as children. I mean, when I find out about this, they get a free pass, and I don't even know if that's right because it doesn't seem to work.
Well, for me, that's because I'm an abused child who's now a man. They get a pass. They get a pass with notes. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up, I won't fucking let you abuse people around me. Not around me if I know them.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to say it.
Because that's just the thing. And it's awesome. It's man on man shit, and I men want to be like, can you lift this? I just lifted this. But actually what I want to do is be around people I can trust. And I don't know, man. I get so sick of that energy cropping up. Anyway, what were we talking about before? I went down the manhole. Let's get wheeling.
Let's get wheeling.
Fuck men.
Right, guys. You ready for this?
That was a good little manhole.
Usually we have Martin playing music.
Oh, yeah.
Mogwai! Dude.
Mogwai.
It's landing on everything I wanted to land on. I did less topics this time.
Yeah, it's Wicket Warwick.
Let me give you guys a
No, wait, Mogwais are gremlins. Wow, that was fucked up. I just thought of the Ewoks. I apologize.
Same thing.
I guess that's rude.
So I was maybe young 20s. Adam, I was probably listening to your music back then as well, but I was obsessed with Mogwai.
Yeah.
It all started with this album called Come On Die Young. And there's like a couple tracks where it's like I hear like background people doing shit, but then like the music's going. So you're sort of like, this isn't even music. It's like an atmosphere.
Yeah, drone.
Yeah, it's like droning, and then it has like moments in the music that get so intense, Martin. It like builds into this crescendo. It's like a Mozart kind of thing, and then it like crashes on you. And it was like, to this day, and I remember getting, what's the album after? It's called, it's escaping me. It was Mogwai. Okay, there's an album after, and I forget the name.
I don't know where it is in their discography, but yeah, they, I think, I know there's other bands, but they sort of were, yeah, and they were
Action.
They
So
were
I heard
pioneers.
Action,
Yeah.
and it was like, it had this singer from Slint was on it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Also, the fucking guy from, I think, Super Furry Animals.
Oh, yeah.
What were they innovators on?
So their early work, they were kind of coming, there was a lot of noise. I think the scene sort of starts with My Bloody Valentine and like
You're talking about
ambient shoegaze, going into drone, growing into eventually what I think Mogwai kind of was, because they did have
Slint,
drums.
I think, gets like Slint and My Bloody Valentine and Ride.
Yeah, and then like Mogwai though ends up becoming sort of droney, but what it is it always feels like, I think the best example of where this ultimately gets is like Godspeed You Black Emperor. Yeah. So, but it's music, it's a film, it's just the music from a film that doesn't exist is the way I describe that shit. It's very orchestrated. It's not math rock, but it is like a zone that they're creating. Yeah. And like, you're actually, it's a really good band. And it's less about writing songs and more about creating textures and worlds. And
Martin, there's singing on Mogwai songs, but it's sparse, where it's like, they'll do one song with vocals, but it's not any of them. Yeah. They have a guest singer, but the rest of the album is all just fucking instrumental.
Have you heard Stars of the Lid ever?
Yeah.
Okay, so Martin, if you write, I recommend getting into Stars of the Lid. It's incredibly, it is like, it'll put the mood on you like fucking, like I don't know what. It really just cracks from beginning to end. Also Windy and Carl, and Flying Saucer Attack.
Oh, Flying Saucer Attack's awesome. Boards of Canada.
Stars on the Lid?
Stars of the Lid. And they, all of them make just music that I think is perfect for writing or painting or just like letting go.
I put Aphex Twin and Boards of Canada in that category.
And they have different stuff. Boards definitely, but it's a little more, I mean, all the things I recommended to you are drumless. They're straight ambient.
Right, that's true.
So like that's the big, but a lot of ambient music is like, sounds like the shit that motherfuckers put on when you get a massage, like like that's not ambient music. That's like, I don't know what that is, but real ambient music, real drone, is organic and like really a thing to behold. It's like a Rothko painting. Like you sit there and it's emergent, but if you just play it for like Karen.com, she's gonna hate it. Because it has no middle. It has no middle. It has no other parts. Has no hook.
I know this is a bit off topic, Adam, but I was re-listening to Cloud Dead, your album.
Yes, we sample all the bands I just brought up.
Oh no,
really?
Yeah, 100%. Don't sue us. That'd be rude.
Well, like
we're on the same plane.
The track that really spoke to me was you took the music from Goonies 2, and that was like,
oh yeah, that's Yoni.
One of the fucking That's one of the first fucking NES games that I just devoured and played
Can we talk about why it's Goonies 2?
Sure.
What?
There is no Goonies 1. There isn't.
Well, there's a Goonies movie.
Yeah, but
yeah,
what the
there's
fuck
no
is
Goonies
why is that
video
NES
game.
game called Goonies 2? And starts
I
of
mean,
its own
that's the
accord.
magic of it, though, because it just continues the story. And like,
It's a
as
sequel.
a kid, I was like, I kept wondering when is Goonies 1 coming out, like the video game. Like, I was like, I thought it was an arcade game, but it was
Mhm.
going to come to NES like eventually.
I'm going to hit you with a really good segue right now. I went to college with an amazing artist, playwright, and poet who is the sister of Chunk from the Goonies.
I've cut cake with Chunk.
Chunk, yeah. I slept in a bed with the rubber Chunk that was on Sloth's back when he goes down the sail with the knife. I guess, yeah, his mother kept rubber Chunk, and I slept in like what are they called? It's like a day bed, the ones that are like against the wall out into the room. I slept in a day bed with rubber Chunk.
That's hilarious.
At Edie's
Yeah,
house. Yeah.
he's like my friend's lawyer. And
Yeah, he's a lawyer. Yeah.
this one time we all went, you know him, Matt Danner. We went to this like fairgrounds, and then Matt pulls me aside. He goes, "Hey man, I just got to tell you, Chunk is over there, so don't mention Truffle Shuffle." And
Oh yeah, he hates it. Why would you like it? I don't want to fucking do that shit at 40 when I'm a lawyer.
No, I know, but I was like, I didn't even know he was there. He looks nothing like he used to, and like when I walked up to him and talked to him, I could see Chunk inside that face, like
Yeah. Yeah, you see him.
Little Chunk is in there. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I met him a few times. Great human being. But that's all I got. Rubber Chunk.
No, I'm a big fan. But yeah, that Goonies 2 game, like, do you remember, Adam? Like, I don't know, we're close to the same age, but Nintendo was coming out. My mom let me go to the store to have one Nintendo game a month. So I went to Toys R Us.
Oh.
They had like the little paper things of the game. You
Yeah.
had to pull out the
I used to, my first anxiety in life, I distinctly remember, was knowing my family was poor and being in a Toys R Us looking at what's available.
Oh, wow.
I remember it's the first time in my life where I was like, what is this feeling? I want to rattle the cage. Like, I understand, but I don't get how the world works.
I was like middle class, so I had friends that had more stuff, and I was
me too.
allowed,
Yeah.
like one or two things. So
Yeah.
when I finally got a Nintendo, and my friend had like 9 games, and I got to have one. I mean, the concept of having to pick, and there's like 100 of it.
There was also a lot of fucking duds, like Gogol 13 and all. There was a million Nintendo duds where when you didn't have a ton, like Nintendo Power was selling you everything. And I remember this feeling where I would ask for a game and then it would suck. And then I would be like, God,
There happened to be a bunch. Little Nemo.
yeah, right. Shadow Warrior, Shadow Run, whatever.
Battle
there was
of
like
Olympus. That game was shitty.
Kid Icarus, SMD.
Well, Kid Icarus was actually good. Wait,
it was too difficult. I don't know. Maybe I just had a
it was like Metroid though,
hit
where
my
it's
spectrum.
like it was like Metroid where you had to go up, and I think that threw you off because if you got really so high, you would fucking fall and have to start over, and it was like shitty because I kept falling.
Yeah, I think that was it. I kept that one level. I kept sucking at it.
Yeah, it's like Martin. I know you're unfamiliar with Nintendo, but these games, like I would get to the point where if I couldn't beat the first level, I wasn't playing anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of them were like really directly difficult with no arc in place. Like they were almost experimental. Like the games were just made. There was no not everything had a predecessor, so they would have really difficult things at the 20% mark, and those kind of games just became hell for children.
Well, like let's get really quick into. You worked with Mogwai, you said.
Oh well, yeah, I know Stuart really well.
Great.
Yes, and we met a bunch. I actually was on Hood Records, but I never was on any Mogwai. But we hung out and...
Wait, you knew the band Hood?
I'm on I love Hood. Hood is a huge band for me. Yeah, we're on Cold
Nobody
House.
in my life has mentioned Hood.
Me and Y are on Hood, and we loved those records. They're in my special
Yeah,
place
Hood,
in the
Martin
house.
Hood is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, two brothers behind all that. And Chris Martin's is a genius. And so, but I have a good story here. I got really fucked up every time I played in Scotland with Stuart. And I'm talking really fucked up. And the first time I met him, he wouldn't let me sleep in his house on the floor until I ate haggis.
Whoa,
So
gross.
he made me eat haggis, and I did the full gag eat, like the swallow gag. And then he took me up, and then it was all bullshit. I didn't really have to eat the haggis, but his energy felt real, and so I did it. And then as soon as I started eating it, I could see in his eyes that I could have been like, yo, boss, I'm not eating this fucking haggis. But I ate it anyway. And then second time, we stayed with his partner at the time outside of town. And we stayed in her neighbor's house, who has a lot of room. And this dude had a converted firehouse, and it was stunning. And he had this insane record collection. So I'm talking fucking, I got a lot of records. A lot of people I know got a lot of records. This cat had a motherfucking lot of records, everywhere. And he's chain smoking, showing us records. We're listening to music. He's not talking a ton. But then we go to sleep, and the next morning he's like, I'll take you to the train station in my Lamborghini. And me and Jeff are like, nah. We're like, nah, dude, we're cool. I was like, we'll get you a cab. And he's like, no, I must take you in the Lamborghini. So in order to get in the Lamborghini with all our gear, we fill the whole car with all of our gear. And I have to sit on Jeff's lap like a fucking, like a dame in a flick. It was really funny. And I'm crunched. I'm on his lap, and we're driving 10 minutes away to the train station, and I can't hold it in anymore. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, I have to ask, what do you do for a living? And he's like, because this dude's bawling. He's fucking bawling, and he's not pressing it upon you. It's a very interesting thing to interact with someone who's blindingly wealthy, but is I don't know what it is. Not like he was chill. He was kind of checked out, So he's like, I am the lead psychiatrist in the heaviest mental prison complex in the United Kingdom. So he goes in. So the guy that ate his mother, and got arrested, he has to go in and be like, how do you feel today, Fred? And so he gets paid. You're going to die today, end of the world money to do an incredible gig. You can tell it takes a toll on him, but he has this thing, and then he drops us off at the train station in a Lamborghini. Never saw it again.
You got to write that as a short story, dude. That's amazing, because when you said that he's checked out, I didn't realize that was the type of checked out.
Oh, it was so real. The chain smoking. I'm like, yo, why is this cat dirty? He's grimy, but he's balling. How does this happen? And it's because he literally goes in and sees someone that is cast off the earth for rightful reasons, the most intense shit. And he has to be like, how do you feel?
He has to process the grime of the earth.
It's so intense when you think about that. So yeah. And then he has all the fucking Alice Coltrane records ever made and whatever the fuck else, he's got. It's cool.
That's the thing, man. If I had that kind of money, I would just invest in a lot of good records and have a tight ass system to play them on. They have sound.
Funny when you hear stories like that.
Music. What?
It's like what you just said, Abed. It's so funny when you hear stories like that. It's funny how people balance out the imbalances in their life. I mean, him having to hear those stories, he needed a way to fucking deal. So it's so interesting to hear how people deal.
Does it balance? I don't know that he was balanced. I think he actually was compensating because he's doing something. I think in this instance, it's something no one wants to do, mixed with a very specialized thing that is difficult to do. And in most instances, people sort of look down on these kind of positions, having to deal with the deadly or the sick, right? And this is both, and jail. Three concepts nobody's fucking with. And this dude goes in and has to like
Wow.
keep it copacetic and be like neutrally charged about something he knows how horrible. That's what I don't understand.
Did you see that?
How do you do that? Sorry, go ahead. Say that. Wojciech is amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I just watched that, but remember that guy's like out of control. Like,
oh yeah,
dude, it's like the beginning of the movie is like him getting out of like the mental asylum.
Yeah, that's Kinski, and he did all that in one take. Did you know
it's not. It's the one. It's with that other dude.
No, Wojciech is Kinski.
Which one is the guy that
got his head shaved and he's crazy and he's like fuck the whole movie? He's like
No, I actually haven't seen that yet. The one before where the Ian Curtis from Joy Division watched before he killed himself.
What movie is that? I didn't know that fact. Now I'm going to watch it and listen to Joy Division.
Well, I'm a big Joy Division fanatic, but it's not Wojciech. I can't remember the name, but the movie is like, it's like this guy who Herzog met on the street, and he was like a musician that played like this weird
the Oregon that film is fantastic.
That's the one.
What is that called? That film is amazing, and name is escaping me. It's the Oregon guy.
Remember, he goes to Wisconsin.
Right. There's a scene in that film that makes me cry where he's playing in this like space between buildings and an apartment complex, and
that is actually Herzog said in the commentary, the guy used to do that. He would actually go and play for people in the common area where people were just looking out their window like confused.
Yeah.
And because he played that weird, I think it was a xylophone, right?
Yep. I think a lot about brilliant artists. So many people die in the hood, and having creative genius is not something that is educated into you. Exposure to cool things magnifies it and amplifies it. But I think a lot about the most amazing song, just for this example, being played for no one, and that that scene made me cry. I was like, God damn it, man, this world.
Well, it's
Daniel Johnston is an example of that, like just this thing that
Daniel Johnston, definitely. It's
so potent, and everyone missed it.
Everyone
and now, more than ever now, everyone's so busy. And if you want 2 minutes, you're crazy. That shit is
so true.
Motherfuckers are fucked.
This totally, I'm going to spin the wheel again, but it applies to one of the categories. But I doubt we're going to land on it. But this
you never know. Chaos is a good writer.
Oh, and it landed where I thought. Wisconsin
really?
Creative theory. Now, it applies to that because
what is it?
I'll explain. It's a theory I have.
Theory?
Sorry, what? No, okay. I went to Wisconsin. Now, I was dealing with shit. I won't go into it. But when I went there, it was for an unselfish reason. And therefore, when I was there, I creatively flourished. Like, I just found my creative zone that was lacking in my work. And I reconnected with my creative self. Martin, I think I called you and told you my idea for a movie.
Did a lot of writing. That's right.
Yeah, and I wrote every day is the thing. I would just write every day.
Go team.
It was a little bit. I would do it. Right. And all this great stuff came out of me. But what it is, Adam, I wanted to discuss was like that creative part of you that is making it for nobody. And so you're not writing to appeal to anyone. You're just creating something that like is for you. And that's the most important way to be creative.
Dude, it's the only fucking path. Everything else is a bifurcation of that same path in order to give you the privilege of regular or sporadic income. But that path of singing in the dark, but everything constantly influencing you, the patina of being exposed to brilliant things. I think the big thing for me is I don't know where I got this. I have no schooling. Everything is self-taught, but I did meet brilliant artists. And I'm talking before the people I brought up today. Those guys are something else, but they smell like a distant version of the people I was close to. You know what I mean? But when I first met genius artists, I just saw it, and I saw this thing that can't be rushed, that is like the way a cat wants to spend time with you. Like, you get better at knowing when that is, but you cannot demand it this moment. It's not necessarily something you can go on tour about. It's not something you can do a daily show about. That's where writers and orchestration come in. But the real thing is spread out of its accord, but it is necessarily breadcrumbs. They do follow one another. If you're tuned in or tuned out, however you do it, you can stay on that path and you can find that shit. And you should always be doing that. And if I'm going to recommend that to you, and that's going to strike true to anyone in the world, I'm going to, as an addendum, say, get a job to support that. Because that shit ain't, like we said about Werner Herzog, like, were that the way things work, he would have been allowed to do orders of magnitude things and create through the 90s in a way that wasn't just documentaries and do world. Maybe he didn't want to, maybe not the perfect example, because I don't know that they were in that place, but the world doesn't want career artists. They want Rothkos, where you like do amazing work and then kill yourself in a really orchestrated fashion. You know, they don't want to deal with that growth. I think Lynch is one. There's not a lot of career artists.
Lynch is probably, for me, the
Rauschenberg is still brilliant. There's a few painters. There's like they exist. What we were speaking about earlier, diffused, zoomed out. Like, that's that shit, though. Can you pull that off? You will have made sacrifices to do so. And
the thing is, truly artistic freedom comes from the ultimate sacrifice, because you almost got to sacrifice things in life that other people have so that you can create this art, is what I believe.
Yes, and it's not just time. It's love and attention. As a person who has lived this lifestyle, I have a wonderful relationship now that I went to a bunch of therapy. Lots of shit influenced how I couldn't get it right. But you will have time and time again, the partner you choose will be like, you're giving that love and attention that I would like to that script, to that statue, to that poem, to that time away on the road. It's a thing. A salesman who goes on the road, or salesperson, they don't go through the same compare despair as someone who is doing what they love in this way that over engages them. It's a very real thing to like really give yourself to art and love it. And then at the end of the day, what I said earlier about art letting you into it being like a cat and you don't really control it, you lose all those girlfriends or boyfriends, and then you sit down and you still can't get that cat to sit in your lap. It has fucking nothing to do with them. That's your human being shit. Treat those people better, heal your shit, do the extra work, be a fucking person, you know what I mean? And an artist. And it is not easy. And I actually, if the way the world is wired, I had to be an artist before I was a whole person. And I don't think pragmatically I can reverse that for anyone. I think if you're going to get out there early and be young, I'm not talking like Drew Barrymore, 4 years old, young, but like if you're going to be 16 to 20 and just start making art, like, you're fucked. You ain't going to be the motherfucking human being you will one day be. You will be a sliver, a slice of that, wherever your confidence and creativity can get to, you know. But it's an interesting thing. And then
Adam, we're going to have to come back to visit you again to have to continue this interview.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. We're rounding towards the end. That was a great episode. I had a good time talking to you, Adam.
Great time talking to you guys.
Yeah, I think we got to everything we needed to, Kevin, right?
Dude, we did the whole wheel.
Yeah, this is perfect.
Well, I had
timed this really well.
one more. But all right, everybody, that's it for the Abed Hour.
Peace, y'all.
We'll see you next time. And maybe next week, who knows? We'll have to find out. If you join the Patreon, you'll find out as soon as I book the guest who it'll be. So you get early information if you join. Now go to the Abed Hour on Instagram for that. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Rob Schraub.
Thanks, guys.
Adam.
Thanks, team.
Thank
Great to see y'all.
Thank you, Savon, for the Midnight Studio. See you later. Good night.
Peace.
I mean,